another day of the week. Welcome to the Wednesday edition. Chasing that paper, presented by VegasInsider.com. And oh, baby, no need to sugarcoat it. You can't sugarcoat it. I got my ass completely kicked yesterday. 1-5, yeah, a couple close losses. They all do count as the same. And what did I say a couple weeks ago? I said this is an all or nothing sports betting program. You're either eating steak or you're selling your stuff so you can afford to buy some hot dogs. So last week we absolutely killed it. This week we're getting killed so far. A couple of weeks ago we killed it. A couple of weeks before that we got killed. So like I said, all or nothing. Not a whole lot of consistency. We can still salvage a week though easily. We got 3 shows here to go so far this week, or remaining this week. And on today's show we're covering just a little bit of everything here. NBA, NHL playoffs, our favorite spots for Major League Baseball. Then we'll kick around some topics in the second half of the show. Joining me to hopefully help me put together a winning program, Kevin Rogers. Technical difficulties here, perhaps. See if we can bring him in. Kevin, are you there? Okay, no Kevin. Kevin's having some technical difficulties there on his end down there in South Florida. So just me for the time being, and I will check in, see if Kevin's coming back. Okay, so enough small talk here, guys. Let's get right into the action. Let's start off in the NBA Game 2, Sixers, Celtics in Boston. And hey, we got a series. Joel Embiid is back. He's going to play. No Joel Embiid related pick here. I'm going to go with the prop. I'm going to take Jaylen Brown to go over his point total. It's at 24.5, minus 120 on the over at BetMGM. I absolutely love this bet. Let's get right into this one. We should expect Brown to be a lot more aggressive in Game 2 here. He had a playoff low 10 shot attempts in Game 1 of this series. Still went on to score 23 points. This is a guy that averaged 20.6 attempts in the regular season, and he had 20-plus attempts in 4 of the 6 games versus the Hawks. He should be and needs to be a lot more involved in the offense tonight. This is a below, and here's the thing. This is below his season average of 26.6 points per game. We all know how it works. These guys play a lot more minutes in the playoffs, which often leads to more opportunities to score. Expect him to get back on track and fill it up tonight. Over 24.5 points for Jaylen Brown. All right, Kevin is with us. I can see. Kevin, are you there?
I am, Joe. Somebody tripped in the court. I think that's what happened, why we had an issue. But
hanging me out to dry here.
I'm just letting you roll, Joe. I'm just letting you do your thing. And we're going to try to give you some winners tonight. So let's go with our first baseball game. And we're going to go with the Brew Crew tonight out of Coors Field. The Milwaukee Brewers, after they've lost a couple in a row. And Colorado's, they've won 2 straight. So we got to break them up. But I think it's a good spot here, Joe, to take the Brewers. They've lost 2 straight. They lost on Sunday to the Angels. Last night they were a heavy favorite with Freddie Peralta on the mound, who had 10 strikeouts against Colorado, but the Rockies somehow won. And your guy, Eric Lauer's on the mound tonight. And the Brewers are 3-0 in his 3 road starts, although all 3 of those wins came as an underdog. Now he's a slight favorite. And Kyle Freeland, who jumped out of the gate, it was like Clayton Kershaw in the numbers he was putting up. He didn't allow a run in his first 2 starts, but he has dropped off significantly since. I just think it's too hard to pass on Milwaukee at this short price here, looking to bounce back. And for Colorado, the offense has picked up of late. But let's go with Milwaukee here with Eric Lauer and back them as a short road favorite against Colorado as our first best bet tonight, Joe.
All right, to the ice we go for 2, then back into Major League Baseball. Second round action. Should have known last night. Fade the Toronto Maple Leafs. You know what this team does? They throw people off the scent. We'll check in on Game 2 of that series there tomorrow. But let's get right into it. Hurricanes, Devils. I think probably the best round here, the best matchup here in the second round. And what do you think I'm doing here? Chasing that paper, darling. Give me the New Jersey Devils coming in at even money tonight in Carolina. The man between the pipes, Akira Schmid, the pride of Bern, Switzerland. A 1.38 goals against average in round 1. The Devils went 4-1 in those games. He saved the series for them. The 22-year-old could be primed to be the breakout star of these playoffs. I believe the Devils have the better offense. That was on full display in Game 7 versus the Rangers, where they were zipping up and down the ice. Both teams faced elite goaltending in round 1, but the Devils ranked higher in both expected goals and high danger chances per game in the opening round. Speaking of high danger chances, Carolina is allowing too many of them. They allowed 20 more high danger chances than the Devils did in round 1, despite the fact that New Jersey played an additional game. That could get the Hurricanes into a lot of trouble versus this high-flying Devils offense. Give me New Jersey. Even money. How about another even money bet in the NHL? I'm going to take the Vegas Golden Knights on their home ice to pick up the W here versus the Edmonton Oilers. Let's get right into this one. So, the Oilers, way too reliant on their offense. Their defense and goaltending often puts them in a hole versus the offense to go above and beyond. 2 separate wins in the opening round where they allowed 4 goals. With the competition getting a lot better, the defense will need to tighten up. I don't trust that to happen. Vegas also has the better goaltender. Laurent Brossoit, the pride of Port Alberni, British Columbia, Canada, is coming off a strong series versus the Jets where he allowed 2 or fewer goals in 3 of the 5 games. Stuart Skinner will likely be the reason Edmonton doesn't make a deep run in these playoffs. A 3.43 goals against average in the opening round. He allowed 11 goals in 3 starts versus Vegas during the regular season. And 6 straight, bit of a trend here, 6 straight Game 1 playoff losses for the Oilers. They don't start these series strong. Maybe it means nothing. Maybe it's a coincidence, but it is a bit of a pattern that's developed over the past couple of years. Give me the Golden Knights, even money. All right, Kevin, let's hop right back over to the diamond. Get us going.
All right, on this second pick, Joe, this is definitely a hold your nose, but sometimes that's got to happen in Major League Baseball. The St. Louis Cardinals have been one of the biggest disappointments, 10-20 this year. They lost their opener last night to the Angels. They're now 0-10 in series openers this year. But tonight's Game 2 against the Angels, they face Shohei Ohtani as a home underdog. Let's go with the Cardinals' first 5. And yeah, St. Louis has struggled big time. And their offense, you have Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado, and they just can't get anything going right now. First off, for the Angels, 1-3-1 in Game 2s on the road first 5. I know it's kind of convoluted, but still. In the second game of a road series, they have led after the 5th inning 1 time in 5 tries. So we got to put that out there. Secondly, biggest home dog spot for the Cardinals this year. And after they were down 4-0 early to the Angels last night, I'd expect them to play a little better tonight, and they were favored last night. Now they're flipped to an underdog. Yeah, you're facing Shohei Ohtani, who's the best baseball player in the world, and his numbers on the mound are ridiculous. His numbers on the plate are ridiculous. But if you can just find a way to get 2 off of him, Miles Michaelis coming off a good start his last time out for the Cardinals. I think that St. Louis is a good shot here. I know you're shrinking the game to 5, and Ohtani's probably going to pitch all 5. But let's go with the Cardinals here in the first 5 innings, and we'll take them as an underdog, hopefully to get off the schneid, or at least to lead after 5. And then whatever happens after that, you can do whatever. But at least lead after 5 tonight, Joe.
All right, next up we got Blue Jays, Red Sox. A lot of offense between these teams last night. I expect more offense here tonight. Great spot for a first 5 over. The first 5 total set at 5. Boom! Give me the over coming in at -120 on that one. So a horrible start to the season for Alek Manoah. What happened to this guy? He has a team-high 5.86 FIP among Jays starters here. Really struggling out there and allowing a ton of traffic on the bases. This is not a good opponent for him to get right against because the Red Sox are absolutely destroying right-handed pitching. Number 1 in OPS versus righties over the last 2 weeks. Red Sox are also 8-1-1 to the F5 over their last 10 games, and a great partner to tango with here for an F5 over because the Blue Jays' top bats have absolutely owned Nick Pivetta, Bichette, Vladdy Jr., and George Springer all have an OPS of over 900 in their careers versus Nicky P And Nicky P getting absolutely crushed at Fenway Park this season. He has a 7.07 ERA in 3 starts. For what it's worth, he posted a 5.95 ERA in 4 starts versus the Blue Jays last season. Give me over 5, F5, Blue Jays, Red Sox. All right, Kevin, your final pick of the show. What are you looking at here? Hello. Are you back? Are you there, Kevin?
I am here, Mr. Joe.
All right, let's keep on rolling here. Your final pick of the show today. Not to school this program here today, but we will try to pick her through here. What are we looking at for your final pick here, Kevin?
Joe, this is like the old Nintendo system. You got to take out the cartridge and blow on it and then put it back in. That's the only way to get it working. All right, my last one is going to be a strikeout prop in DC, the Cubs and the Nationals. And Washington actually has the fewest amount of strikeouts against opposing starting pitchers, which is unbelievable. We're going to take Marcus Stroman over 4.5 tonight. And it's at plus money, so I can't really pass upon that. Stroman, 3-1 to the over on props that are at 4, strikeout props at 4.5 this year. So he's done a pretty good job of that. But also you see that second number, which is amazing for when you break down starting pitchers and what they've done as far as their strikeouts versus these opponents this year. Washington has the fewest strikeouts of any team against opposing starting pitchers. And you would think, oh, the Nationals, they're not good. You can't really name anybody in the lineup. But still, for some reason, they don't strike out a lot. They had 2 strikeouts in the first game against the Cubs. Against Drew Smiley. They had 2 against Wisniewski last night, and now tonight they face Marcus Stroman. But I look at the plus money on Marcus Stroman, and he's done a good job of getting strikeouts this year. Some of his unders have been just barely under the number. So let's go with over strikeouts tonight. I think it'll turn around. Let's go over, hope for 5, and get plus money with Marcus Stroman when the Cubs face the Nationals, Joe.
Hope the Stro Show shows out tonight in that one. Okay, a strikeout prop for me. Gonna fade Dylan Cease. His number set a little too high for my liking. 7.5. We're gonna take the under at even money versus the Minnesota Twins. So is last year's magic gone for Dylan Cease? Maybe he's been figured out a little bit here because his strikeouts are way down. He stayed under strikeouts in 4 straight starts now. Totals of just 3, 5, 5, and 6. In those games, his whip, FIP, and ERA are all up considerably compared to last year, and this isn't a good opponent for him to dominate. Potential to get chased early versus a Twins team that ranks 3rd in OPS versus righties over the last 2 weeks. For what it's worth, he's had 6 Ks against them back on April 10th. Give me Dylan Cease under 7.5 strikeouts. Woo! We made it. We made it, guys. If you're watching on YouTube right now, whether it's a live show or the replay, and if you like the show, it's easy to let me know. Just hit that like button right down there. Just hit that subscribe button. We would appreciate it very much. Okay, so if you're looking to get in on some action here tonight, looking to place some bets, maybe you need a new sports book, I highly recommend BetMGM, the king of sports books. Let me tell you a little bit about them. We have an exclusive offer just for Vegas Insider users. Sign up with BetMGM, use the promo code VIBonusMatch, and you will get up to $1,100 of your deposit matched by BetMGM. That's code VIBonusMatch, all one word, no spaces. For a first bet deposit offer of up to $1,100, visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 years or older to wager. Offers for new customers only. BetMGM, the king of sports books. All right, all right. Let's kick around a couple topics here, NBA related, and let's put an end to this Dylan Brooks 2023 playoffs chapter. So I don't think it's a exaggeration by any means to say that this performance by Dylan Brooks is one of the biggest L's in the history of the NBA. For an individual, he radically just disrespects LeBron James. And how does he follow that up? Well, he punches him in the balls. He gets eliminated or kicked out of that game. His play sucks for the entirety of the series. For the most part, the Grizzlies' play sucked. They get eliminated in 6 games. And how does it all conclude? Well, the Grizzlies just completely throw him under the bus and say, smell you later. You're not coming back to the team. So I think Dylan Brooks, I think he could have saved face here a little bit if he walked back what he did and showed a little bit of humility and took a little bit of responsibility for the loss. I don't think a whole lot of people would have faulted him if he came out at the end of the series and actually talked to the media and said, you know what, I was trying to get a little bit of an edge here. The playoffs are very typical, very different, tough environment, and I was trying to get a little bit of an edge for our team. And guess what? It backfired. I don't think a whole lot of people would have faulted him if he came out and did that. I think a lot of people maybe would have respected that compared to what he did do and just not talk to the media at all. Just completely ignored it, which was, it's harsh, but let's call it what it is. That is a little bitch move by Dylan Brooks, what he did. And now as a result of that, the team completely throws him under the bus. And I think that is a little bitch move by the Grizzlies, laying it on thick. They come out with the language, he will not be brought back under any circumstances. Under any circumstances. This is a guy who spent the entirety of his 6-year NBA career as an employee of this organization, and they trash him. They say, smell you later, on his way at the door. I guarantee you, if the Grizzlies had won that series, they would be celebrating that behavior. They would encourage it going into the next round of the playoffs, but it's not to be, so they use him as a scapegoat, which I think is a bit of a joke. And how do you think other NBA players look at that? They're trying to bring in other free agents here, maybe try to bring some adults into the room here for next year. You got to think NBA players frown upon that, just treating a player like shit like that. Now, he deserves criticism from the fans, but from his own organization, I don't agree with that at all. So, Kevin, what do you make of this whole Dylan Brooks situation? You think there's a chance that maybe he's not even in the league next year?
I think that someone would pick him up. And like you said, if you show a little remorse, you try to talk some trash on LeBron, it didn't work. But you do need to, nobody's going to fault you. I don't know. There's some of the mentality, Joe, is that I got to stick to my guns here. I have to say what I said, and I got to duck the media. Just came out and said, yeah, I talked trash on LeBron. They were the better team. Good job, Lakers. We'll try again next year. Okay. But there's this thing where it's like, I said what I said. I got in his head. LeBron James is the greatest scorer in the NBA, in the history of the NBA. And you thought you were going to get in his head, and he ends up playing well, and they blow you out, and you lose all your road games. You went 0-17 this year as a road underdog. Maybe you look at it and say, okay, you know what? That was on me. Dylan Brooks is a good player. The problem is he talks too much, and he just doesn't want to say, that's my mistake. My bad. I tried. And you know what, too? You look at Ja Morant, and we had talked about this prior to the show, Joe, all the stuff with him with the guns and all of that. And it's like, oh, you get a little suspension, and it's okay. This Memphis team's a mess. I don't care what anybody says. You know what? You won the Southwest Division, a division that had San Antonio, who was bad. Houston was bad. Dallas was a mess when they got Kyrie. New Orleans was above 500 barely, and they lost in the play-in tournament. The Pacific Division had 5 teams that made the playoffs, and the 5th-place team is up 1-0 in the second round now against Golden State. And we can also have that discussion, too, that, well, Sacramento was the only healthy team left. Everyone else wasn't healthy. That's why they struggled. But Memphis cleaned up on a lot of garbage in their division. They're a good team. They're a good, fun team. But you know what? They try to have a lot of FTGs on that team, fake tough guys, and it just doesn't work out for them. They faced the Lakers, and the Lakers ran them out in that round. I think that Dylan Brooks can find a place in the NBA personally. You're going to think I'm nuts. I think it goes to the Lakers next year. I think that LeBron does what Kobe used to do. always the villain, he'd bring him in there and try to reform him. And I think LeBron would want to bring in Dillon Brooks, like, hey, you can help, but shut your mouth and do what we need to do here. And I think he would do it. And do the Memphis Grizzlies do things right? Everything gets public these days. That's the problem. Everything comes out, and no matter what you put, now we all look at it and say, yeah, Memphis could have handled it a little better. But at the same time, they're like, hit the road. Like, you're a problem. And I guess good for the Grizzlies to say, if you're that much of a problem, you got to get out. You got to fix yourself. We can't do it. You got to fix yourself. So I don't think Dillon Brooks is going to be sent off to China next year to play basketball. I think he'll find a place in the NBA, but he's got to learn from this experience.
Yeah, I've heard that thrown out there that people potentially saying LeBron would try to onboard him there with the Lakers next year. We'll see if that happens. That would certainly be interesting. But either way, Dillon Brooks, he costs himself a lot of money. He's going into free agency here. This is still a young man who's supposed to be going into the prime of his career. He's coming off one of the most embarrassing sagas in the history of the NBA. So he'll be lucky to get a one-year deal. He's not getting some type of big-time contract. He absolutely killed himself in terms of the salary that he can earn here next year and into the future. Okay, so let's talk about the big story out of the NBA last night. Of course, it is the Lakers coming through. Tight win as I think it was a 4.5, 5-point underdog on the road in Golden State. Very tough environment, so a very top-notch win there by the Lakers. And let's give Anthony Davis his due. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that was one of the best performances of Anthony Davis's career. 30 points, 23 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 blocks, leading the way to the Lakers' victory and putting the Lakers in an excellent position to go on to win this series. They're now favored to win this series. So here's the thing with Anthony Davis. This is the way it's supposed to be. He's supposed to be the best player on this team. He's 8 years younger than LeBron James. And I think many people fairly assume that after they won that championship in the bubble, the torch from the best player on the team would have been passed from LeBron to Anthony Davis, but it didn't happen. A lot of different reasons at play here. Anthony Davis, most notably, is injured all the time. And also, LeBron's still really, 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 really good. But Anthony Davis, a couple years ago, he was in the same discussion, the same conversation at the same level as the Jokic's, Embiid's, Giannis. But now he's a tier or two below. But still, he's 30 years old. I don't exactly think he's going to get healthier with age. But the way he played last night, it's no stretch at all to say if he continues like this, the Lakers are going to win the series and maybe even go on to win another championship. So good for Anthony Davis. We hope that he can stay healthy and maybe reach the potential that we all kind of thought he would years ago. So obviously the Lakers now favored to win the series. They went into the series as an underdog, and we put a poll up here on the VegasInsider YouTube channel asking you guys how you think the series is going to end up here. So Lakers favored to win the thing now here, minus 175. Doesn't surprise me here. People hopping on the plus money of the Warriors. They were favored to win at this time yesterday. It is a 7-game series. They did go in an 0-2 hole versus the Kings. Big difference, though. That 0-2 hole happened on the road. So the Lakers, this is a much different type of defense than that of the Sacramento Kings. So I think the Lakers will go on to win it. Am I betting that at 175? Absolutely not. So, Kevin, your thoughts on Anthony Davis and this series going forward?
You just never want to see any of these guys, Joe, hurt for long periods of time because you know how good they can be. And Anthony Davis is always that guy going back to Kentucky, seeing that he's going to be a star in the NBA someday. And he was with the Pelicans, and he needed to go somewhere else. He goes to the Lakers. You mentioned the title in the bubble that he won a few years ago. But this is what NBA fans want to see. They want to see LeBron with another star healthy and what he can do. And Anthony Davis, when healthy, it's just amazing the things he can do as far as just shooting the ball, grabbing the rebounds. And this series now with the Lakers winning last night to go up 1-0. I'm not going to count Golden State out. We can't. I know you mentioned that the Warriors got down 2-0 in the last series, and they won the next two at home. But they did win games 5 and 7 in Sacramento. So that is a tough environment. They did win 2 on the road, and we know how bad Golden State was on the road this year. but they found a way to win on the road. Lakers did go 3-0 at home in the last series against Memphis, and Memphis's road numbers were atrocious this year as an underdog. But this is just a very tough series, I think, moving forward to predict, Joe, because you can see, all right, Golden State can come back and win this one. Win game 2 and even the series of 1 going back to LA. But also at the same time, the Lakers, they are more than capable of winning on the road. I know they had the clunker in game 5 at Memphis, and then they moved on from that. At this point, it's just very intriguing to see what's going to unfold, that you're either going to get LeBron and AD in the conference finals or Steph once again in the conference finals. But I think the NBA is definitely not disappointed by being guaranteed to have either the Lakers or the Warriors coming up in the conference finals.
Yeah, exciting times. I said that going into the series, I think it will be bigger than potentially any possible NBA Finals matchup. Who knows? The two biggest stars in the sport. It's great to see. So let's hope we get a long series there. Okay, guys, it is now time for today's Handicapper Heat Check, proudly presented by VegasInsider.com, your home for the best expert picks in the business since 1997. MLB experts, ASA, are scorching the diamond with a 12-game win streak, bringing the record to 27-7 on the season. Bill Marzano on a 19-6 NBA playoffs run, and AAA Sports continued their run from 20-6 in the last 26 MLB picks. Visit VegasInsider.com/picks for today's early MLB action, plus NBA and NHL playoff winners. That's your Handicapper Heat Check. Stay hot, bettors. All right, Kevin, what do you have going on out there that chasing that paper viewers can check out?
Well, we'll have more NBA best bet videos on our YouTube channel at Vegas Insider TV. You could find them, and we'll have a best bet video for Lakers Warriors tomorrow night, so you can check that out. And just keep your eye out on our YouTube channel for all of our media material. Media content, they like to say, Joe, kind of the big time word, content creators. So we have that. You can check out our YouTube channel, again, Vegas Insider TV.
Big time content creation going on here at Vegas Insider. And if you like it, make sure you like this video, of course, and make sure you subscribe to our channel. It makes all of our content that much easier to find. Okay, that does it for today. Going to be back tomorrow. Ian will be joining me in his traditional Thursday spot. We're going to be all over the NBA, NHL playoffs, Major League Baseball, and have our official preview for the UFC pay-per-view going down this weekend in lovely New Jersey. So we thank Kevin for joining us. We thank producer Tito for producing. We thank you, dear viewer, for checking us out. Yet again, best of luck with your bets tonight, unless, of course, you are fading us. And as always, keep chasing that paper. Yeah!